Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Nur Ita Veramasari. I am from Biology Education, offering B 2019, Universitas Negeri Malang. Here, I will present to you about why Down syndrome has spatial memory problem. So, what is Down syndrome? Down syndrome is the most frequent genetic cause of cognitive disability. So, unraveling the physiological mechanism responsibility for this deficit is an important challenge described by John Lennon Down for the first time in 1899. Down syndrome is characterized by the existence of an extra copy of chromosome 21, which leads to several medical problems. Down syndrome is a condition of mental openness and physical development, while the baby is still in the composition caused by abnormalities in the number chromosome. Instead, in normal infant, there's 23 chromosomes are paired up. To increase in Down syndrome sufferer, chromosome number 21 triggers 3 or trisomy, bringing the total to 47 chromosomes. The excessive amount of shock is released in the system avoided by the cell. And in this picture, there are a Down syndrome sufferer. The this excess chromosome causes learning disorder and certain physical characteristics. The Down syndrome sufferers is have condition less a lifetime, but with proper care, people with Down syndrome can grow healthy, live happily, and productive for the environment. Some people with parents might be able to do various activities themselves like normal people, while others need to help for others take care of themselves. And people with parents might be able to first activities themselves to like normal people, but people with Down syndrome are generally at risk of experiencing several medical conditions. This include GERD, gluten intolerance, hypothyroidism, and defect. Children born with this syndrome also often experience hearing and vision problems. Like let grow and behavior problem are often proper in children with Down syndrome. These behavioral problems include difficulty focus, obsessive, and emotional behavior. And they are common symptoms of Down syndrome. Down syndrome have common symptoms like a typical facial appearance. A typical facial appearance is like, for example, has a flat nose bone and small ear. And then the size of head is smaller and the back is flat. And then the eye of rises the eye rises is likely, often with fold of skin coming out the upper eyelid and covering the inner corner the eye. And then with they are have white spot appear on the black part of the eye, called brush-filled spot. And then they are have the short neck with the skin behind the neck looks rather loose. And then they are have small mouth and protruding tongue, and there have muscle are less well formed, and there is a gap between the first and second tooth, and a wide palm with short fingers and a fold in the palm. And then they have low weight and height compared to the average. Physical development of children with this condition also tend to be slower than children who are not born with Down syndrome. For example, because the muscles are not fully formed, children with this condition may be slower to learn to lie and on their stomach and sit, stand, and walk. In addition to affecting physical appearance, this condition also results in cognitive impairment, impairment including thinking and learning problem. And then GRIK1 gene. What is that? The GRIK1 gene is located on chromosome 21, which is triplicate in people with Down syndrome, who therefore have a higher of dose of many genes. Human cells usually contain 46 chromosomes, half of which come from the mother and half from the father. Well, Down syndrome itself occurs when a baby has an extra chromosome that is formed during the development of the mother's egg, sperm for the father, or during the embryo, which is the embryo of the baby. And then this condition make the baby has 47 chromosomes in each cell, not 46 chromosome pairs as normal people. This excess chromosome causes people with this syndrome to experience various physical and development problems. And then, what is function of GRIQ1? Professor Joan Lemar's group from the UMHCSIC Institute of Neuroscience in Alicante, Europe, Spain, has identified the gene called GRIK1. Fundamental is the balance between excitation and inhibition in the brain as one of cause for people with Down syndrome having spatial orientation problems. And second, the function of the GRIK1 is this particular gene. This gene is particular genes play a very important role in communication between neurons, regulating the release of the main inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain that's called GABA. And then, what is spatial memory problem? In here, spatial memory problem is form of memory responsible for the recording of information about one's environment and spatial orientation. The example for this spatial memory problem is a person's spatial memory is required in order to navigate around a familiar city, just as a rat's spatial memory is needed to learn the location of food at the end of a maze. It is often argued that in both human and animal, spatial memory are summarized as a cognitive map. Spatial memory has representation within working short-term memory and long-term memory. Research indicates that there are specific areas of the brain associate with spatial memory, and we and they are the main of the article is why is Down syndrome have spatial memory problem. This is causes of Down syndrome have spatial memory problem. Uh, to maintain proper brain function, a good regulation of communication between neurons is necessary. This communication is done through neurotransmitter and can be excitatory or inhibitory, which would be equivalent and the accelerator and the brake respectively of the neuron system. The release of external or inhibitory neurotransmitter take place at the point of contact between neurons called synapses. The correct balance of the excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitter make it possible for the neural circuit to function properly. So, pathologists apparently as different as anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or autism all have in common the breakdown of the excitation or inhibition balance in the brain. Uh, we have seen in most models of Down syndrome that there is a problem of imbalance between excitation and inhibition of certain neuronal circuit of the hippocampus, a brain structure related to memory and orientation in space. This imbalance depends on the dose of GRAK1 through genetic manipulation techniques. We have normalized the dose of GRIK1 in our Down syndrome model, reverting this imbalance between excitation and inhibition. These are explained for the from the Professor Ulma. That's the explanation. When the dose of this gene is normalized in this transgenic mouse, special memory problems disappear. So we can conclude that poor balance of inhibitory and excitatory neurotransmitter allow nerves circuit to not function properly. And Professor Lerma points out that the change caused by his by this imbalance in inhibition are subtle and had gone unnoticed throughout the years of study on Down syndrome. Last year, Professor Lerma's group already demonstrated how slight change in the intensity of synaptic transmission cause significant modification of behavior depending on the brain structure affected. Uh, when change in the intensity of synaptic transmission take place in the brain annulida, uh, fear or anxiety response can be affected in alterations in the intensity of transmission occur in the prefrontal cortex. It can lead to problem in personal relationship or an increase in aggressiveness. This is there and that what Professor Lorma said, and how this new study published in Nature Communication showed that further inhibitory imbalance in the hippocampus result in attention alteration related to spatial memory, which likely account for orientation deficit in people with Down syndrome. And it's all about my presentation. Thanks for your attention all. I have my presentation is can useful for you all, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.